Thank you for staying with us. The removal of fuel subsidy is taking a toll on Nigerians as transportation, food prices, amongst others, have witnessed a drastic increase. The Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, however, united for the struggle for the masses, are divided on how negotiations with government should go. While the Nigeria Labour Congress said it would embark on a nationwide protest on Wednesday if the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited refuses to revert to the old price before discussions can continue, the Trade Union Congress, on the other hand, is demanding an increase in minimum wage and an immediate reversal to the old pump price of petrol, even as consultations with the federal government continues.
NNPC, a private limited liability company that illegally announced a price regime in the oil sector, refuses to revert itself for negotiation to continue, that the Nigerian Labour Congress and all its affiliates will withdraw their services and commence protests nationwide.
For us, it is quite apt that the minimum wage today is not a living wage, as we all know. The value of the minimum wage since it was negotiated has plummeted to a very abysmal level as it is today. So we've, and topmost in our demand was clearly stated as well that for utmost good faith and in the interest of social dialogue, that they should revert back the pump price while discussion continues.
Well, joining me in the studio to discuss more is National Operations Controller, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Mike Osatui, as well as columnist Sam Omashe. Gentlemen, good morning. It's good to have you on the show this morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
good morning.
All right. Also joining us from our Abuja studio is member-elect Ikwano Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency of Abia State under the Labour Party, Honorable Obi Agwacha. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's begin the conversation in the studio, gentlemen. And I'll begin with you, Mike. When the president made that statement, fuel subsidy is gone, it seemed like your members were waiting for that statement, because even leading up to that, a lot of Nigerians were saying they couldn't get petrol from certain filling stations. And then when he made that statement, the kind of reaction we got from your members was quite an interesting one for Nigerians, because it is being reported that subsidy had covered the product that was already on the ground until June, ending of June. But then the kind of reactions that we got from marketers, it wasn't encouraging for Nigerians, if I may use that word. Why did that happen?
Yeah, let me correct one impression that subsidy has covered up to June ending. It's a budget, and it's not a must that you must spend your budget. And that's number one. Number two, whatever happens from May 29, 2023, President Tinubu is accountable for it. And in his wisdom, he says it's gone.
How do you mean that he's accountable for it?
He's accountable because the president that made the budget up to June ending is no more in power. So, and he's going to be accountable to Nigeria, to the whole world, anything from May 29. And he felt that the budget that has been made, he's not accepting it. And he has his reasons.
Is that what he said? That was not what he said.
No, I'm just saying.
That was not what he said. That was not what he said. Just a fuel subsidy is gone, and that it will not take effect immediately.
No, he didn't say it also.
He said that later on, from according to reports, that he later said that statement was not to take effect immediately.
If he had said it, he could have reversed it by now. So that's that one for now.
No,
now,
it's part of the conversation.
No, he didn't say at all.
If I may come in here, if I may come in here,
yeah.
He said, I glimpsed the budget, and from it there was no provision for subsidy. Then he said, subsidy is gone. For you to say that because he's president, is responsible for the budget, is to put the rule of law on his head. Because for you to change the budget, you have to go through a process. That's what they call supplementary budget. Or what was going on in the US now, which they just resolved, this idea of debt ceiling. They had to sit down, cooperate, and then to be a matter of law. So the president cannot just say, okay, I'm changing the budget. That would be impunity against the spirit and letter of the speech it was delivering at that time.
Yeah,
so don't expect him to say we'll change it.
Yeah, but same time, if he believe, if what we are saying, he believe in it, he could have reversed, he could have told Nigerians, no, on the 30th of June. And let me tell Nigerians.
But he said that a few days, but it is the impunity and the mischief of the marketers that came into, because if you say it was a matter of budget, the budget was going. Why don't you wait for the money to be paid to you?
Yes.
Why didn't you wait for the money to be paid to you?
Okay, why did NNPC change their price within 24
hours? It was a template.
Hours?
It was
called a template. What was template?
Where did the template come from?
Where did
now wait, let me tell the truth. Where the system, and I will tell you what is happening.
Okay.
We pay 7.4 million to lift a truck. Within 24 hours, NNPC said we have to add 13.3 million to it. So to lift. So where are we going to get it? We need to increase our price.
Why didn't you consult the government first before you just decided to jump
So who is government? Who is government? NNPC.
What was PPP? Why did you consult with them?
NNPC said before you can lift my product, give me another 30 million.
Yes.
So they have to consult the government, not we.
Did you consult
At
with
what
them?
point
Did
was
you
this?
Sit down?
That's what we did for 8 hours after the pronouncement. So we are in business. We're not NGO. Right? If I pay to you 7.4 million.
But you guys had created artificial scarcity even before May the 29th.
Even the so when they made the announcement, they locked up their depot. They didn't know us. So is what happened is that replacement cost. Like we're a business, we're not NGO. Right? We're not Red Cross. And why did NNPC said marketers come and bring 13.3 million before you can gift it? And what is it now? Before we paid 7.4, now it's 21.1 million naira. It's either you buy, you pay, or you're out of business. So, and let me say something to Nigerians. What the president has said is the best for the country. If he had said that on the 30th of June, that somebody is gone, by now we're going to be in crisis. They'll be holding. Holding by everybody, yes, because they want to take advantage of cheap price. They will fill their cars.
But you guys were holding immediately now.
Even before
that announcement,
you
were
we don't hold.
You were holding. You were holding until the price came up. And you thought that
except you are not being sincere.
We're business.
You were holding.
We sell products and then we go and replenish. We buy. We're in business. We don't hold. But if he had given even 1 week notice, the country will be in crisis. There will be queue, there will be stock piling, and there will be mess in the system. But what he has done is the best for the country. And let me tell you, in fact, that's 4 days now. We have saved about 4 billion naira from this subsidy that I'm talking about. And if you are paying subsidy, either you say budget or no budget, you are fueling crisis, you are fueling smuggling, you are promoting it. And
is it checking the smuggling now?
yes, price of petrol in Cameroon there is 864 naira.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, it's even worse in Ivory Coast. Naira, 90 naira per liter. So if you buy fuel of 20 naira per liter, and then, you are making times 5 of the profit. It's tempting, and it's against the country, against Nigerians. So that is why now that they have the home fit, the smuggling now has come down, and we're going to now know how many liter do we consume in the country, right? Because if our fuel go as far as Sudan.
Yes, I know. I wrote about this. It goes as far as.
So why should we? Okay.
Now wait.
So why should we be financing?
Hold on. Are you saying that we still need to increase the price? Because if Togo's own is 800 and something, our own is still 500.
Yeah.
There's still 300 naira.
Yes, but by the time you add the transport cost that we take it to Togo or because the money is no more encouraging. Someone doesn't worth it somehow. Maybe we are making about 30 million before. All the stakeholders, we share it from point A to point B. And then Now you are now making about 3 million. Say, I beg, this thing doesn't want it. So, smuggling is gone. It's gone by about 80%, and subsidy is gone. So let us use the money we have to now pay back our debt. 7 trillion. Well, when we use the money to pay back, to reduce, that 7 trillion we are owing. So the best decision is what he has done for the benefit of Nigerians. And we, now, before there was monopoly, for NPC, right? They own the jam and knife. Now they said, you can even bring in product now. If you meet the criteria, you can bring product. There will be competition, there will be fairness. So we are now in business. The boy is now on the field. Our eyes is on the boy. And then we are going to play it based on the rule of the game.
All right, let's bring in our Abuja guest, Honorable Agwacha, to this conversation. I wonder what your position is with regards to this matter. We see NLC, TUC is still having a conversation with government, especially the TUC, with regards to this matter. They are calling for a revert to the old pump price because they are saying that the government has to look at how it can cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal, even though NLC is saying that there will be a showdown on Wednesday.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Very grateful to be here. Regarding the issue of subsidy removal, I applaud the current president for the courage that he has shown to ensure that subsidy is removed from every aspect of our life today. Subsidy has had its 50-year run, started in 1970 when Nigeria were trying to cushion the effect of the global oil prices. In 1977, it was formalized by President Obasanjo through the Price Control Act, where Nigeria allowed all commodities, including oil, to have a set price range of that. Now, the subsidy was supposed to help people, the poor amongst us, to be able to obtain products and commodities at reasonable prices. But unfortunately, the subsidy regimen that we have has gone through perverse inducements, whereby the elite, the marketers, have taken undue advantages of the subsidy to the detriment of the people. Now, the political elite in the last election, both the PDP, the APC, and my own party, the Labour Party, talked about removal of subsidy. That means that the political elite or the political class have come to a consensus on the removal of subsidy. So my party supports the removal of subsidy regimen in our budget. What the president did on 29th, maybe some people thought he misspoke. He didn't. The president simply realized that it will be extremely difficult in this day to either have economic growth, infrastructure development, or human capital development with the current subsidy regimen in place. We have a country that the last administration left us with almost 80 trillion naira in debt. Every 96% of our inflow of revenue goes to servicing the debt. So imagine in our budget where subsidy receives close to about 7.2 trillion just to service the subsidy regimen. Yet education gets about 1.1 trillion. The health sector gets about 2 trillion. Infrastructure is about 1.5 trillion. Even if you combine these three things that will, if you combine these three things that are the backbone of economic development, subsidy alone, gobs all of them. So imagine where we are today as a country, and imagine what can happen when the subsidy is removed. It will now help us to accelerate our infrastructure development. It will help us to grow, and it will also help us to develop our human capital to ensure that Nigeria is going to be competitive in this 21st century. So we support subsidy removal, and I applaud the president. Regardless of who the president is, if my president was also seated in office today, which is P2B, I'm sure we will also go through this. The only difference now is in the rollout. The country, the government must have to do everything adequately possible to ensure that we roll out, meaningful palliatives to cushion the hardship that our people are facing. To also ensure that we have adequate alternative transportation options, rail and others. When it comes to rail, only Southeast has not benefited from any expansion of the rail program. So this will also be an opportunity for us to do that, to be able to increase the wage. As of now, every other index is affected. Transportation, housing, food commodities, every other thing is affected by the subsidy removal, except for wage. Wage has remained stagnant. So I'm of the view that we should have a pyramid approach, that from the lowest of the grade level to the mid-level, that the salary must have to be increased with the savings that are coming from the subsidy removal. And as well, that the government must have to be transparent in how the savings are going to be spent. Issues concerning the subsidies have been shrouded in secrecy, that nobody knows who's telling the truth or who's not telling the truth again. So for us, the Labour Party will support the subsidy removal.
So are you saying invariably that you are not in support of the showdown by NLC come Wednesday?
No, the showdown of the NLC, yeah, I mean, I can understand, like my co-guest there talked about. There are genuine points that NLC are making that ought not to be swept up under the carpet. Now, like I've talked about the wage. Wage has remained stagnant. It is unfair for somebody to be somebody to be earning the 30,000 minimum wage. That 30,000 is about 60 liters of fuel today. It would take about 40 kilometers to exhaust that. So we need to be able to cushion wage, number one, so that the poor amongst us is also adequately provided for. Then secondly, the NLC have to understand that in the 2023 Appropriation Act, that subsidy is not provided for it anymore. And then the PIA has also deregulated and also does not provide for subsidy. But they are right in one area, that the NNPC ought not to have put a price cap on the price of fuel, the pump price. They should have allowed the market to determine. There are many fuel stations in the country that are today selling still below the price before the crisis started. Those are patriotic Nigerians that must also be commended for. But the ones that we have problems with are the ones like the marketer who is talking over there, that overnight they were selling at 200, let's say 200 naira pump price. And the president made that statement, and then all of a sudden they became price gouging, selling over 500 naira, some places 600 naira in the southeast. It's almost 600 naira per pump price. So we have to look at this thing holistically to allow the market to determine the pump price. I think on that level, the Labour Congress is right. But I do not believe that going out to picket is the right answer to that. Nigerians are suffering every single day, regardless whether we picket or we don't picket, whether we protest or we don't protest. Nigerians are still suffering every single day. So my suggestion is that the government have to be open-minded. The Labour Congresses must have to be open-minded. There has to be a meeting with critical stakeholders and actors in this sector to be able to resolve this, to ensure that Nigerians are happy, and to ensure that we have adequate palliatives to to help Nigerians move away from the adverse hardship. We've already been battered. Nigerians have already been battered by several policies and programs from the previous administration coming in now. Would it be the cash crunch? Would it be non-payment of salaries? So Nigerians have been battered, and Nigerians are only looking for us, those in government, to be able to show leadership. And also, by showing leadership means that this government must also have to be aware and cognizant that we can't just be talking about subsidy removal without also talking about the wastage that comes in governance. We cannot be living large while the bulk of Nigerians are living, bearing the cost and living lives of hopelessness and not enough opportunity and despair.
Right, interesting. The government has even said that it is setting up a tripartite committee to review the matter of wage increment, Sam, and Nigerians are waiting to see what they will come up with regards to the wage review.
Yes, it's significant. The president has said, some people are not paying attention, that it was going to review the wage structure.
To reflect current realities.
Reflect the current reality of the economy. You know, the thing is that when a decision like that, the economy itself will now take a life of its own. During the Great Depression era, John Maynard Keynes said that the economy is more, it would take longer for the economy to be irrational than for you to go solvent. In other words, you cannot predict an economy in situations like this. And that is why he himself has been cautious about, you know, how to move forward in this circumstance. And what that means is that while the economy itself is trying to adjust, because we are going through a transition process in the economy, it's trying to adjust, wages are going to adjust, cost of food, rent, they're going to adjust. And all of these will lead to some kind of rocky few months before we find out where we are going to land in the circumstance. So it is a time for patience, a time for rigor in thinking, and it's a time for us to work together. That is why it's absolutely rational for NLC to say, I want to go on strike, when what you're supposed to do is what the TUC is doing. TUC is saying, let us have a conversation on how we're going to deal with it. Because we are facing a fait accompli. The first subsidy is not there. It's not in the budget. There's no provision for it. So what I should be thinking about is, whatever gains we are going to make from it, what are we going to do with it? Because people are talking about palliatives. Palliatives are fine, and palliatives have been used before. You know, this is not the first time we are removing subsidy. They did it piecemeal in time of Jonathan, and then they said they came with palliatives. What happened to the palliatives? We replaced corruption with corruption, because the palliatives became a source of corruption. So palliatives became palliatives for the rich rather than for the poor, or for labor leaders. Labor leaders were part of the beneficiaries of palliatives, and where are the buses, where are the transportation infrastructure that they provided? We can't see them. So it was corruption. In the time of Buhari, they said there was the same thing. We didn't see the palliatives because we replaced corruption with corruption. So what is important is that we need palliatives, but what we need more, just as the member of the Labour Party said, is what do we do with the money? What do we do with the gains? That is where the vision for the economy comes in. Right. That is what the president is saying. Right.
We need to quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Just stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We still have our guests with us looking into the matter of fuel subsidy removal, as well as organized labor's reaction to the removal of fuel subsidy. Right, we come now to our guests in the studio, Michael Satui. We see that NNPCL came up with a template, And some of your members are not happy with the fact that NNPCL is coming with a template. We'd like to get your reaction to that, because NNPCL is saying that due to market forces, this is the template, pricing template that Nigerians will be working with moving forward.
Yeah, under this regime that we have food regulation, there's no more price cap. An NNPC is a company now, limited. And they want to the shareholders. That is their own template as a company.
It has nothing to do
It
with
doesn't have nothing to do with Ipman or Mama or something. But there can't be any much difference. You can see, like now, if you import now today, based on the current reality, the pump price, then is going to be about 511. So I'm going to say about 530, 540 pump price. Maybe in another three weeks or a month time. That's the truth. So, but that's their own template. That's their own selling price, a company. I can come out and say I'm selling 505, 510. So it then depends on you as a buyer to either buy my own or buy their own. But they're going to be a stiff competition. And the price gap will be very, very tiny. Maybe 1.5, 2.5 different. That's the beauty of this regulation. Nobody can exploit the market or the Nigerians. It will be like diesel price. Diesel price goes up and down. And you can buy 740, 730, 730. Maybe it's small difference. That's the beauty of it. So that is their own. But when people now are importing based on the new price, then we know where to go. But the problem we have now, there's still going to be discussion
with government.
Yes, with government, because the area of foreign exchange has not been addressed. Then what's the rate that that NNPC used to get to their own 550, 500? I know that it should be around about $6.20 to $1, $6.30 to $1 per barrel. But what's the basis? Can they assess that rate with CBN? And if we want to import in Ipman, where do we assess our own forex? Is it from CBN again? Do they have the reserve to meet up the demands of all the importers? So we are still going to talk about level playing ground. Not that you will give somebody forex at the back as also rates, and then you ask me to go and trust my own at the black market. It can't work. It's still going back to the same monopoly. So we still have to sit down. If we have $1 million to give to importers, Ipman, this is your own, NNPC, this is your own, Mama, this is your own, Daba, this is your own. Then you share it. Then we now pay at the same rate. Then the question of efficiency now comes in. We now go to competition. What can I do to beat A and B? And what can I do to provide more services to my customers, to woo them, to embrace me?
Yeah. What you're saying is actually what market is. So we have not really entered the market. What we have been doing is that we have been muzzling the market. So what you are saying is setting free the bird from the cage. That's what you are saying. And that's what I said earlier, that we are going to go through a certain rocky phase where we are trying to determine what is what. And it's going to be an exciting time. Well, it is going to be bad for some, but it's going to be exciting for the country, almost as if you're just taking the baby out of the womb.
Yes.
Now you want to clean the blood, you don't know where the baby is going to cry, you don't know whether it looks like the father or the mother, or maybe it doesn't look like the father or the mother at all, or we don't know whether the baby is going to be fat, is going to be tall, or whether we need to do DNA and all of that. It's a very exciting thing. And that is what the president has just set free. He has set free the economy, and he says, okay, now let us now see how we're going to do it. Just like when you get what they call it, what Paul was saying in 1 Corinthians 15. So when you get the potter trying to get the clay together, and the thing is chaotic, then you start shaping it. Shaping it. Whether you want to make a pot or you want to make it into something else.
Start the
pricing template.
No, the pricing.
Okay.
Because they have the stock. I think that can last for the next 30 days, as they have said. As of now, for the next 30 days, 25 days, NNPC have the stock, which they have had before. So they are the one who can also kickstart it before other people join. Even if I'm importing today, I'm even have forest today. I cannot bring in fuel in the next 1-2 weeks. That is why I said they have started it. In another 1, 2 months, 3 months, it will be taking shape. It will be taking shape. Then we are going to. But government has said that subsidy is gone, no price control, then competition, and you know that GMD said they are still owing them 2.8 trillion.
Yes.
That they have not paid.
Pay them, yes.
And you're talking that they are budgeted for June when you are owing me, right? So what can I add to the 2.8 trillion? So this is time to free themselves.
Yes.
So that in fact they are going to start recovering
Their money.
their money back now.
Yes.
But they are company.
Yes.
So and then government also will start to build up reserve. In fact,
Yes.
China has about 3.4 trillion reserve dollars. We have about 35. And Japan has 1.2. So we need to, let me go by Biblical. In Proverbs 12, 13, verse 22, he said, good man provide inheritance for children. But what did that provide for us? Debt.
That's an inheritance.
77 trillion.
That's an inheritance.
Subsidy now we,
No.
Now we
But you know that even debt.
subsidy now we continue to reverse that 77 trillion
You know.
from negative now to positive, so that our children can inherit assets.
Even in debt,
Not
even debt can be an asset. It depends on how you look at it. You can turn debt into wealth.
How the president inherits.
You know the story of the unjust steward?
And
He turned debt into wealth. I mean,
that's what the president wants to do now.
Yes.
By turning debt.
Debt into wealth,
Now,
exactly.
If you look at our debt, 77 trillion, whatever trillion they are talking about, and look at the asset the country have, our gas can serve us for 400 years.
You know, you have left something unspoken here.
Yeah.
We have the issue of oil theft.
Yes.
People have underreported what the president told the security chiefs. He said that he should go after the oil theft and that he was going to do a different architecture for the security
Architecture. Yes, a reform for security
He's going to do
architecture.
that. It's very important and it's focusing on that. Then we have the refineries, which we have been spending trillions every year
Maintenance.
for maintenance of something that is not. It's just like trying to dress up a beauty queen when there is no beauty competition.
In fact, let me tell you, we spend about 250 billion naira every year to maintain the refinery that doesn't produce 1 liter of fuel.
Exactly.
If you are a businessman,
Is that not corruption?
can you afford it? Can you do it?
And so Nigerians are calling for a probe of all of those.
That's a different ball game again. That's a different topic for that day.
Yes.
But let us talk of this subsidy. You see, when Nigeria, we are giant of Africa, but we are the one feeding the sub-region of West Africa and even Central
Oyibo
Africa.
people too, we are feeding them.
We are feeding
All of them, they are part of the subsidy scam.
Should they kill us?
Right.
But that is if we also want them to kill us. But now we have left Egypt and NLC, Labour, whatever, cannot take us back to Egypt. Let me say something to you. Let me say something to just with me.
Quickly,
Yeah.
because I need to go to our guest. Yeah. Quickly.
Okay, quickly. Labour Congress that is saying that they want to go on strike. They're part of the smuggling. Because they are drivers who are.
Do you have proof?
They are the member who drive the truck. They're the member. Yes. So why can't they condemn to that so for years? So they should just go and sit down and talk no more about strike.
All right. Honorable Agwacha, quickly now, the president has said that monies recovered from this matter of fuel subsidy will be channeled into infrastructure developments like hospitals, the education, and all of it. Now, the concern for Nigerians is the fact that is how we will insulate these monies from corruption, such that every Nigerian benefits as from these monies as is being projected by the president.
Absolutely. Well, like I said in my earlier remark, that one of the things that is missing in this whole discussion is the trust and confidence of all stakeholders and actors to come together to have a dialogue. And the major issue there is transparency and corruption. Like I said, the subsidy regiment has been shrouded in secrecy that nobody knows who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. But one thing I do is that this discussion must have to happen. Subsidy must have to go. We need to now have a new dynamics in terms of how we're going to approach our economic growth, our infrastructural development, and as well as our human capital development. Now, if you look at our country today, just like I said, 96% of our revenue goes into servicing debt. We have a country as at this year sitting at 41% unemployment and 21% underemployment. You also have a country that cannot even, with the subsidy removal now, Nigeria cannot boast of $100 billion of infrastructure development. So we have insecurity. We have oil theft, like somebody mentioned there. These are the things that are, for so long have been holding Nigeria down. And I think this is what the current president saw, and he got spooked. And he talked about subsidy removal. And now there are economic consequences to that. So what I'm saying, in effect, is that all sides must have to come together. Somebody said corruption begets corruption. We need to eliminate that. And part of eliminating that is that this current administration must have to come clean as to what happened to the $800 million that was borrowed by the previous administration for subsidy removal. So if the president is willing to come to the table, be transparent, be accountable to the Nigerian people, I'm sure with the adequate provisions for palliatives that Nigerians will give him a thumbs up in removing the subsidy once and for all. So, and then secondly, there are a lot of marketers who have hoarded fuel or who bought fuel in the old subsidy regime that has already been paid for, that have not exhausted it and still remaining in their tank farms. I think the government, as a matter of urgency, should at least have consequential provisions compelling these people to sell those fuels that are still in existence in tank farms at the current market rate, thereby having NNPC remove their hands on the price cap they've already done. This will also help in the shortest time relieve Nigerians of the hardship that they are feeling right now. But the president must have to show leadership by getting all the actors together to have a dialogue on this.
All right, let's bring the conversation to the studio quickly. Michael Satui, your final or your closing remark on this matter before we let you go. Perhaps you want to respond to our guest in Abuja studio.
Yeah, I've said it earlier that we're talking about, because something cost. When you want to replace the goods, you have to go and pay for the new price. And there's no any price cap from NNPC, no price cap. I've said that that's their own price, which we are going to bring out our own price when we start importation. But we cannot exploit. And Ipman, we open our stations nationwide for 24/7 from Wednesday. I mean, we are open now, but we're not part of the strike. Because we don't believe in it. We believe in what TUC is saying, that, look, this is bad, is bad. Let us say no more. But let us now sit down on the table. What can be done? If there is trust from the people to the government, I mean the trust government, okay, you get 7 trillion saving this year, and you spend that 7 trillion for betterment of Nigerians, gurus, health, everything. So I believe there must be a discussion, not strike.
All right. We must leave the conversation here with you now, National Operations Controller, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Michael Satui, for your time on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will go on a short break. When we return, we have another conversation. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. The race for the leader of the House of Representatives is getting hotter as lawmakers, both old and new, count down to the June the 13th inauguration. Those interested in various leadership positions have been speaking with colleagues and party men to improve their chances of clinching key seats in the National Assembly. Just like the Senate, members of the House of Representatives are intensifying moves to see that their preferred candidates emerge. Still in our Abuja studio to discuss this is member-elect Ikwano Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency of Abia State under the Labour Party, Honorable Obi Agwocha. Thank you for still staying with us.
See, LP for life. I'm sure you can see it here, LP for life.
Interesting. Right. He said LP for life.
Yes.
Now, this matter of the race for the speakership, talk to us how it is going. Although we've gotten some reactions from the Ohaneze talking about the leadership of the Senate, saying that zoning deputy speaker to the southeast is disgusting. We'd like to get your perspective on that before we move on to the speakership race.
Well, first of all, it's important to understand that based on international best practices all over the world, the party in the majority is often allowed to produce the presiding officers. In the case of the House of Representatives, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. As at today, APC forms the majority. When you look at it from an individual political party, but when you look at it collectively, the minority have actually formed a greater majority. We have more numbers in the minority when you combine PDP, Labour Party, NMPP, APGA, and other parties otherwise minded. But we have also considered that based on international best practices that APC should be able to produce the presiding officers. In this current 10th Assembly, in their own wisdom, APC has zoned the offices. In the Senate, they preferred Senator Akpabio from South-South and somebody else from the North. In the House of Representatives, they preferred Tajuddin Abbas, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, and Barrister Ben Carlo from the Southeast. Now, this is APC's decision. I applaud APC for at least bringing the Southeast to the presiding table. In this wise, Deputy Speaker, if they give us the Senate presidents, we will also take. But for today, the reality on ground is that in their zoning arrangement, we have a Southeasterner to take over the mantle of the Deputy Speaker. So I would have thought Ohaneze, representing the collective interest of Ndibo, should have been most grateful, should have been happier to say at least that the Southeasterners are on the table, especially when you look at the votes coming from Southeast to APC. Was absolutely nothing compared to the votes coming from the Southeast to Labour Party. But having said that, it is most important for us to look, in this day and age of P2B, to be able to look at people who have competence, people who have experience, people who have the experiential intellectual capacity, people who have an understanding of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the House rules to be able to preside and to bring stability in the House of Representatives. Somebody who also will be willing to work with the administration for the betterment of all Nigerians. APC, in their wisdom, have selected these people and have yet to see anybody, despite the zoning, to say that the capacity of these people should be impeached. Nobody has impeached their character. Nobody has impeached their understanding of the law. After all, the basic thing for a lawmaker is to make law. Then you have representation, and then you have constituency. But the number one important is making law. And for me, as a Labour person, as an individual, we have seen many candidates in the wise of for the speaker position and the deputy speaker position. For me, I believe that Tajuddin Abbas is the best person to be given the mantle of the leadership of the House of Representatives to bring the needed stability and to bring the needed competence that is required right now to move this country forward. Like I said, the last election propelled by the awareness created by P2B meant that Nigeria has become aware, and Nigerians are becoming too sensitive about issues of governance. And if we're unable to deliver, then it will be catastrophic, not just for us, but for the entire Nigerians. So the House of Representatives is geared up now to have effective leadership that will now take us into doing wonderful things for Nigerians. Like I said in the previous segment, Nigerians have suffered. They keep suffering on a daily basis. Insecurity, unemployment, not having adequate hospital facilities, not having, we have dilapidated infrastructure, dilapidated educational system. These things need to come together to work. And the only way we will get it to work is not by having an activist National Assembly, but to have a proactive National Assembly that will work for the common interest and good of all Nigerians.
It's very interesting for you to say that the people in the North Central, they are saying that they want a speaker. People like Wase, Gagdi, and co saying that they want the speakership position.
The Southeast has not had speaker for the last 40 years.
Yes,
the Southeast, no Southeasterner has become Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives in the last 40 years. If we begin to micro-zone it, to say, well, this person have not had it, this person have not had it, the most important thing is that who is going to have it? What is the vision of that person who is going to have it? How is the person going to, rise all persons to be focused in national development? That is what, most important. Then when we begin to agitate, well, North Central have not had it. Well, I could say Southeast have not had it as well. But in due time, I'm sure these things has a way of going around. But for today, the APC in their wisdom have selected a very fine gentleman, two gentlemen, one for Speaker and the other for Deputy Speaker. And the one for the Deputy Speaker is my brother. He's from the Southeast. I'm only too happy that in any discussions that will happen in this current National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly, a Southeasterner will be on the presiding table to also, help us get what we have to take for national development for the Southeast.
Are you saying Tajuddin Abbas is not your brother?
No, it's not just because he's my brother. It helps that he's my brother.
You call him your brother?
It also helps that he's a man of integrity. That he's a man of integrity. That is a man that has efficiency. That is a man that understands lawmaking, and that is a man that understands nation building. So it's good that we put all those things together. It doesn't matter that he's my brother. Even if he was not my brother, Tajuddin Abbas is not my brother. He's my brother by coloration of we all Nigerians. He's not an Igbo man. But I believe he has the right temperament. I believe he has the competence to be able to do the work of Speaker.
Right. So we hope and expect to see a vibrant 10th National Assembly, be it at the Senate,
National Assembly,
at the House of Representatives.
It's not going to be the same as where the other 9th Assembly or 8th or 7th or 6th Assembly. The people who have come to the 10th Assembly come with different backgrounds, different experiences, and different outlooks insofar as national politics is concerned. But one thing that I like about this 10th Assembly is in each and every one of them, regardless whether they come from Sokoto or they come from Abia, they have a sense of responsibility, a sense of obligation to do the work for Nigeria once and for all.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave the conversation. We must thank you, Honorable Obi Agwocha, his member-elect, Ikwano Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency of Abia State under Labour Party. We must thank you for your time on the program.